I think it's within an hour that we see it kick in. It
An
could
hour
be a
after
lot
he
less.
takes the soft
Yeah,
gel.
but it could be a lot less.
Okay.
But I give it to him an hour before I really want it to notice that it's in effect, and it is in effect by the time I want to notice.
Wow, awesome.
So I would say you definitely have within an hour that it's effective.
Yeah, it does take a little longer to go through the digestive tract, but
And
it
it
is very
seems to
consistent. You should
stay-
get the same result every time. Should be
And
absorbing
it
well.
seems to, I don't know how long you would say that it is effective, but if he falls asleep by 9 o'clock, like he settles down and he's usually, he is like out by 9 o'clock, which is amazing for us because it used to be like a 4-hour bedtime process, which is also very typical for autism.
Really?
And so he is out, like asleep, and stays asleep. And then I wake him at 8 and he gets out of bed because he's rested. He used to not get out of bed. And this is all within 2 weeks.
No
This is like night
way.
and day, and every single night and morning was a battle. Like, it's really amazing.
Because like you called me because you didn't want to run out. You had a day and a half
Right,
left, and you were
right.
like, "Hey, we need these."
Yeah,
And I was going to send you
yeah.
to a different pharmacy, but your story was so intriguing, I had to come and meet you because I've gotten so many testimonials, but not any from a mom with such a powerful story about an autism child.
Well, it's because we have been through, so I would say since he's 8 years old, we have tried every anti-anxiety and antidepressant medicine. They're mostly the same medicines. I bet we've done 24 medications, and either we've seen no effect, but it takes 6 to 8 weeks for you to see an effect if it's going to be effective. So we spend all that time. They all have side effects, like either no appetite or weight gain or insomnia or sleepy, or in autism, what we've found, and in his case particularly, those medications, they work differently in an autistic brain. And like a lot of times it would cause mania, like where it was supposed to calm the anxiety, but like Prozac in particular, he was like literally running on my roof. And that was and it was so apparent that it was related to the medicine because that hadn't happened before he took that. So we, after a couple of years of trying every medication in that, for that particular symptom, we gave up on all medication because we thought it's just better to not have the side effects, and we haven't found anything that worked. Either it didn't work or it had worsened side effects.
You said you've been a year without meds? 2 years?
He'd been 2 years with no meds. 2 years with
no meds, okay.
Yeah, and then we had started high school and hit puberty. And so that makes things maybe a little bit more hard on every teenager, and particularly one who has anxiety. And so when we started 9th grade this year at high school, he had just a really, really hard time getting started. In fact, he quit going to school and after 2 weeks, and that's in a special ed class. Like, I mean, we thought we had this great situation, and he just couldn't do it. But then he started shutting down, just a downward spiral, and we actually had to admit him to uni to get treatment 4 times. Like, we bring him home and then a week later back in, and just we couldn't get there. And they tried to, well, they did. They started him on another course of medication that we were, one that we had already had before. We just said, if you knowing that he has autism, and if you want to do it on these microscopic dose, then we'll give it a try. We tried, and there's absolutely no effect but weight gain. And so we just decided we just can't keep doing the medicine. Even if it was effective, that's one thing, and we would take the side effect. But where there's no effect, it was not worth it to us. So right before this, we had just met with this Dr. Stiefel, and I had heard people talk about CBD for kids with autism, and I kind of thought of it, but again, there's a stigma with it. And I also wanted it supervised by a doctor because this is a kid who's had crazy reactions to medicine. And so I asked this Dr. Stiefel, who specialized in autism, and he told, and I had to ask him, he couldn't just offer it, but his reply was, "Oh, I'm actually glad you asked," meaning he didn't feel comfortable just advertising it.
Bringing it up.
Yeah.
But once you brought it up.
Then he was actually really excited about it and even wrote it in our doctor notes, like that he was recommending it. And he told me specifically to go to Jellies and get the Farm to Pharma brand, because he knew that there's a lot of different products out there, and he wanted it to be a clean product and get exactly what I thought I was getting out of it. And so he told me I could actually double the dose of what was written on the bottle, but I haven't needed to do that. We take it as indicated on the bottle, 1 in the morning and 1 at night. And that is the right dose for him. We don't need more. And so he talked about the CBD can work, just to calm him. And it's not going to treat autism. Nothing will. But what we have found is even kind of better than what he had expected. We hoped that it would calm the anxiety, and we are seeing that. But it's also making him, we've been in therapy, like with a psychologist for years, and it's not been super effective, because it doesn't matter when my son has such slow processing, he gets so frustrated so quickly, and it's like 0 to 100 in an instant. And if he gets frustrated, it's like we get holes in the wall, or someone gets hurt, or it just happens really fast. And we can't say, why don't you go take a time out, or any of these 100 coping skills you've learned over the years in therapy, because it just happens so quickly. And so what we have seen is now he's actually using those skills, because we're still pushing when he gets frustrated. There's still lots of opportunity to get frustrated. I mean, that's the story of his life. It's always going to be. He still has school, and he still has to shower, and he still has to do those things that tend to put us over the edge.
Because it's a neuromodulator, and it is restoring normal reactions in the frontal lobe, which includes stimulus and response. There's a patent by the U.S. government as a neuroprotectant in the brain, CBD. What you're saying is so true and borne out in research. Absolutely. And you're experiencing it. I'm getting chills right now.
So I'm not, I didn't actually realize that.
This is real life right here.
Yeah. Oh, we can see it working before our eyes, because this is like the 3rd day that he's taking it, and we had he had a problem with his phone, and the consequence was that he needed to lose his phone, and that is like his life support, like any teenager, but this is a teenager with low processing, and so that's going to put him over the top, and we knew it would. And so we waited until the evening and got the whole house calmed down, and all the kids put away where they're not going to be there, because we knew this is going to be another hole in the wall when we take this away, but it's a consequence that we needed to follow through with. And so we said, Brennan, we're going to have to talk to you about this, but we're going to do it at 7:00. And so right there, that would have put him over the top, because if we need to talk to him something, he's not going to wait until 7:00. He wants to know right now if he's losing his phone, because it's really important to him, and he can't wait, and he was going to bug us until then. Well, he waited right there. We couldn't believe that. And then when we sat down to talk, he actually sat down. That doesn't happen either. And he sat for a full hour, and he understood what we were doing. He was angry about it, which we expected. Nothing got broken. He swore at us. He was illogical and irrational, but it was a debate. It wasn't like a physical argument, which is usually how it would go. And we could not believe that, because that has never happened. And usually we don't have such a severe consequence where we know the phone is really going to trigger that, because it's the one thing that he cares that much about. And so I said to my husband, wow, I think I can see this working before my eyes. And he said, don't get your hopes up, because
it's only been 3 days.
That's only one thing. But then we've continued with it it's been almost 2 weeks now. And he has, we've never gone this long in 2 weeks. We've never had 2 weeks without major outbursts. Ever in his whole life, especially his teenage life. So it just really matters to us that he keeps taking it. We're also not having to give him things that have side effects. We don't notice any side effects, except that he's sleeping better, and that's a good one for him. And I don't know if it's exactly a side effect. I think that's probably what people would actually take it for sometimes.
It's creating homeostasis in his nervous system, so it's then upregulating and allowing his body to get as much sleep as he's supposed to be getting. It's sending signals to everything from melatonin to brain activity to reach homeostasis. That's what's so fascinating about CBD. It's not an anti-inflammatory, and it's not an anti-pain. It's just a signaling molecule that tells our own body how to go and create normalcy across all the systems. It's such a perfect regulator, and that's the effect it's having on your son and on his brain and anxiety. Thanks for sharing your story.
Absolutely.
You're amazing.
Yeah, it's the right. Well, thank you.
You're a good mom, and you're going to encourage a lot of other moms, I think, to try an alternative approach to.
Yeah. I mean, I would say one thing, if you can ever get it in a lower dose than the 17.
Absolutely.
Just for like younger kids, because actually.
So smaller dose soft gels, maybe we'll come out with a 10 or a 12 milligram instead of a 17. That is one downside with soft gels. They're very convenient. They're easy to take, easy to remember. We have high patient compliance and discreet. Thank you. But yeah, you can't adjust that dose very precisely. It's either 17 or none. So yeah,
and that
like
works
a 10
great
or
for
5.
him. But see, it makes me hesitant to offer it to my friend, for example, who has probably a 50.
Good. I've got something I can leave with you today for your friend. They're 10 milligram isolate gummies, great for a 6-year-old.
Oh, a gummy. Yeah. Oh, well, if you have it in a gummy, then you probably don't need a soft gel, because that would definitely go well for him. So.